Hello, everybody, and welcome to Wednesday. Wait, yeah, it's Wednesday. Let's see. Throws my seconds boulder, and now I can teleport back and forth. Okay. Well, have fun teleporting. How are you doing today, Malevolent? No one is here but you, correct. And that just happens to be the way it is. Welcome, Data. How are you? Maybe my intro should be more than 2 minutes, but more than 2 minutes gets annoying. That's why my intro is almost exactly 2 minutes, and that's what I aim for. With that being said, let's see. Let's work on this board here. Maybe. And there we have it. There is a board. Being that there's only a couple of you in here today, either we'll do a short show or maybe people will file in a little later. We'll see how this goes. I'm noticing, though, before I go ahead and let you guys pick from the board, feel free to throw your things in there. I am noticing that a lot of people are going more towards the evening streaming, and times of streams are starting to change slowly. So with that, maybe I might adjust what I'm doing here with time. I'm trying to come up with my summer plan before the weekend hits, and then I can figure out what I'm doing from there. So, to the people who are nice enough to join me today, who would like to pick the first topic on the board? Welcome, Daryl. How are you? Alright, so I know that the YouTube count doesn't work, because if you're showing me 5 people and telling me there's 4 watching, oh, it's not counting the bot. Something's screwy with YouTube. Something's very screwy. But yeah, my options are, and if you would like to go to Twitter and put your vote in on the poll, the options I have given are, where are they? Let me get this somewhere in front of me here. Click. NumbedSkull is count the host. Yeah, see, I'm wondering, is it counting the Nightbot, or is it not counting the Nightbot, or is it not counting me? And I'm thinking it's not counting the Nightbot, because when the bot comes up, it doesn't include it. So I don't know. Here it is. I don't have a large audience, obviously. But how about a poll? YouTube is a hobby and not going to warrant the time I spend working on it during the summer. What would the audience like before I decide this weekend? And I am at 11% for a few more and then end the season. I'm at 44% for keep going, fewer a week. 22% for keep the schedule, and 23% for scrap this garbage idea. So if you'd like to hop over to Twitter, how do I link it into chat? Nope, that's not it. How do I link this to chat? Open that. Link copied. And we'll put it in here if anybody chooses to partake in the Twitter poll. Let me do that again with a little YouTube correction here, because now I can't spell. W-I-T-T-E-R. If you put something after the URL. It oftentimes doesn't do that little YouTube correction. But yes, somebody please pick something from the board. There aren't that many of you here. Somebody please pick something for me to talk about. Maybe we will still make this a short show. Maybe I'll go for half an hour with the small crowd. We'll get 2 or 3 topics out of the way and see what happens. Or I could turn this whole screen off and turn this into a bullshit stream. Retitle it. Switch over. What would we all like to do, guys? Uh-oh. Nope. Email. Alright. Anybody? Alright. This seems to be how the day is going. Stripper heels from Data Wasteland. Absolutely. Loving those platforms. The only sites in the US. What the fuck? Now I'm gonna be angry because I know with 100% certainty that I switched that. Category 2. Yeah, I did switch that. Let me close. And I apologize, guys. We'll do this one more time. Talk about screw-ups for the show. Having a hell of a time over here. What the fuck? That is not the question that is in the program here. What the hell is going on? One more shot at this. Let's see if it was just a little... Forgot to click one button. Damn it, guys. I'm sorry. Horrible show today. Horrible, 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 horrible. And now I have to mute because I have an important phone call. Have I mentioned how much I hate schools and school people that call for dumb reasons? Sorry, everybody. My apologies for that long, undue pause. Have I mentioned how much I hate schools and wasted officials and money making phone calls for stupid reasons? Platforms! Beginning a channel on YouTube is not the best idea to new creators due to the lack of YouTube sharing new videos. Hello, Malachi, welcome. Hello, Lacey, welcome. I'm obviously going to go over time on this one. My apologies again. No worries, though. Let's use my perspective. As I was watching other creators a year and a half, 2 years ago, before I decided to join YouTube, you could see that creators would be put in the trending categories if their video got huge traction really fast. And obviously, I don't claim myself to be in a category to get that kind of traction, but am I being shared with anybody? One of the things that I notice is, unless I am actively sharing myself, unless I'm actively posting or somebody actively posts my video somewhere or mentions me, I don't really see a lot of new people coming in to check out the show. So is YouTube turning me into one of the other creators that just, no, sit down there, figure out how to grow, and once you figure that out, then we'll put you on something and let you run. Yes, try to paste my stuff in Discords. I try to do it twice a week, but at least once a week I'll go through all the Discords and post my show an hour or so before the show, sometimes 15 minutes before the show. And I post in 20-something Discords. I also post it on Twitter, Google+, sometimes on Facebook, Gab, Minds. Have I posted it on? I think I've posted it on Patreon before, but I don't get any traffic to these sites. It's not that, and I appreciate that, Lacey. Everybody that shares, that likes, that throws it on their Twitter and in their Discord, I appreciate that, but what that's doing is, to correlate this, if I were a show on Fox, to get me views, would promote my show. If I'm a YouTuber on YouTube, YouTube should be at least mildly trying to promote my show. Today is said it started at 6 a.m. See, that's another thing I'm noticing. To look at it from YouTube's point of view, my sound is popping. Oh, okay. It was doing that to me yesterday, but only on my end. Let's try undoing that setting and see how this goes. YouTube has been changing algorithms. Cognitive Thought put out a post that said his watch page, his analytic page, said he had 800 views on something, and somebody else tweeted him that it said, really? Dead air. It says I'm putting sound out. Really? Hold on, guys. If you hear noise, let me click on the watch page. Videos. Hello, Malachi. Welcome. Wow. Hello, Lacey. Welcome. Okay, that's not live. Hello, Lacey. Welcome. Okay, that's live. I seem to be coming through all right, guys. All right. Sorry. YouTube is changing a bunch of their algorithms, and you're noticing that your view counts aren't accurate. I can look at my video, and my video will say my view is 29, and then I go into another section and it says I've gotten 34 views. It's not counting all of the views on my shows. And then either they add on later or they never add on. And when I do the math, the numbers seem to add up, but they don't seem to add up when you're looking at them. I don't know if it's an algorithm thing in YouTube. On top of that, I don't know if anybody remembers this last weekend. A bunch of us were experiencing loading problems. You'd be in the middle of watching a show or watching a video or a live stream, and all of a sudden it would go static and say this video is not available. It's almost like YouTube was intentionally trying to block certain channels without letting the channels know. It feels like we're falling into patterns that YouTube has decided we need to fall into, and in pushing us there, we're seeing the little matrix glitches that let us know something's going on, but because we haven't been aware of the matrix for that long, we're not sure exactly what the matrix is doing. Is it resetting? Is it rewiring? Are they changing the roads? Is the cat going to walk by the doorway again? I'm not sure what YouTube is doing and why they're trying to do it. The question is, what is it going to do to creators? And if they continue this stuff, they're going to lose creators because, and we've already seen some people move to Twitch, move to Facebook, move to other platforms, and then repost their stuff on YouTube when they're done, if at all. We're also going to see people not even bothering to come to YouTube because they hear how bad it is. They're just going to go to Twitch and start there and see what they can make of Twitch. Same thing with Facebook. You're going to get people who just go, well, I'm on Facebook. YouTube is fucking over their creators. I'm just going to work on Facebook and see how badly they fuck me over. Your sub count changes a lot and often about a dozen, and my views won't change for a while, but a few days later they go up all at once. It's weird. I have a weird one a couple weeks ago, and first thing I do in the morning is check my channel. One, to make sure it's still there, with all of the other dying channels. And two, I check to see, do I get views? And do I get subscribers? And sometimes I'll wake up, hey, I got one more subscriber. Hey, I got 3 views. And that's cool to me. I know it's small, but, you know, I'm a small creator. YouTube is constantly changing my subscribers. I'm noticing that channels that I regularly watch and I know I have alerts for don't always send me the alerts on time. I'll get it like 5 minutes after the show starts or an hour after the show starts, as well as the fact that, let me check and see if it's still doing it. On my watch page, because I'm streaming, it's not screaming. Because I'm streaming, it's not going to tell me, but on the watch page, on the broadcast page on YouTube, before I go live, it says specifically that my time is Eastern Standard Time, but the broadcast time that I'm going to go live is often off by an hour, or it'll say that I broadcasted my show at 7 a.m. and it's not set for Mountain Time. I'm trying to figure out why stupid things seem to keep screwing up. And I think that's probably where a lot of our videos are being lost, is on the bottom end of the algorithm being caught in some stupid whirlpool of computer writing. Way too long on that topic, but that's okay because it fills the show, right? Who's picking the next one? And another comment I have is a couple weeks ago I was watching my subscriber count. This is when I started to mention. I went up 3 subscribers on one page the whole day long. On another page, I was up 2 subscribers. And then when the day ended and the next day came, I was down 1 subscriber altogether. And I can't figure out how, if one site said I gained 2 and one site said I gained 3, how did YouTube say I lost 1? So there's definitely glitches in the subscriber count, but don't take this wrong. I watch my Twitter count, which is also low, so changes are very apparent when you have a small count. My subscriber count on YouTube, the people I'm subscribed to and the people subscribed to me will on a daily basis both go up and down one or two people. So I'm not sure whether I have 116 subscribers or 118, whether I follow 180 or 182 people. I do know I have like 3,000 tweets, so damn. Oh, good morning, Brad Young. Welcome to the stream. How are you doing? We are waiting for somebody in the chat to pick a topic. I see sex from data at 9:14. Sold, we're taking it. Not even 30 years ago, sex was still taboo to most people. What has changed? Same. Mine only varies by like 10 people, not 2. So strange. It's... Okay, so obviously, I'm small. 100 people, when one person comes and goes, that number is going to show. If I were 10,000 strong and one person came and left, that would be just, somebody did or didn't like content and decided to come or go. When you're small and you're growing and your numbers consistently go up, one per day or one per 2 or 3 days, which is where I am, you notice when all of a sudden you go up 1, up 2, down 3. And you're wondering, okay, did accounts get booted and I lost a subscriber because the account is gone? And when that happens, if I lose the subscriber of that account, why is it I'm still subscribed to that account and I have to delete it? But it's still showing up in the list. It's a weird... I've only got 150 subs or so. It took a week for me to feel confident to do my 100 subs scene because it kept changing. Yeah, I did the same thing. I was like, oh, I can do a 200 person show now. And then I watched when my YouTube hit 200 and it went 201, 202, 201, 202, 203, 202, 204, 201. And it's like, am I really over 200? So then I go through, and you can't see somebody. Oh yeah, we're on sex. We'll get back to that. I think television has added in that ability to be more confident about your sexuality. And confidence in sexuality and confidence in conversations about sexuality means that they're going to become more frequent. There used to be a lot of people that would go, no, we don't talk about that here. We need to... That's something you discuss in the bedroom with your partner. I think we're going to go back and do a tangent on YouTube here when my timer runs out. But as shows have begun to make it more of a everyday thing, which it always has been, but people kind of tucked it away to the bedroom. If we make it seem okay to discuss, it will become okay to discuss. And I think I've sort of covered something like this before, saying that the openness of sex and the conversations we've been able to have about sex in the last 30 or so years have probably spawned this division of the non-binary and LGBTQ community, because they're more open to say that I'm different, I like my sex different than you, so I'm different, or I don't feel like this, so I'm different. If we hadn't opened up the discussion about sex, would we be here where we are? Or would they also still be hiding because it's a bedroom thing? Which it is. Sex is something that, unless the kids are gone, is a bedroom thing. The kids are gone, you got the couch, the kitchen table, the tub, the shower, the counter, whatever. The joy of remembering not having kids. Since the conversation is so easy to be had. And it's actually encouraged. Parents are encouraged to speak with their children openly about sex because it'll allow for better conversations. Um, you could probably even say that conversations or the openness of the discussion about sex means that more people nowadays are less likely to do things like rape or sexual assault because the conversation can be had. More people are able to talk about it as opposed to having to hide it and tuck it away and then all of a sudden come out as a violent sexual person. Um, you can pretty much follow the arc of what's normal at a point in history and what's been on TV. TV usually correlates, sometimes it tries to break the edge of, sometimes it tries to represent. It all depends on the show, obviously, and the directors. Um, Sex sells, so I think it had a lot to do with it. 30 years ago, they were still using boobs to sell bowling balls and brake fluid. But you know what? 30 years ago, when they were using boobs to sell things, they were using the the clothed outline of breasts. Now, the way you sell something is not to use the clothed outline, but to show as much of it as you can without breaking the rules of the current standards. So no nip, no areola, and you're golden. You can show everything else. For bikinis, it's you can't show the labia and you can't show the rectum. You can show everything else. What are the rules for men? Can I go out in a very large green leaf and a wide string? Would that be allowed? They don't go over that. Think of the draft. If the wind blew between my legs, would the leaf not be enough? Maybe another day. Excuse me. Let's see. There was a comment. Why do subscriptions show up in recommended? Data, I don't know if you've noticed this or anybody else. Um, what is it called? Let me open the YouTube app real quick on my phone, and I will tell you. There's home trending, subscriptions, activity, and library. Now, the home page used to give you new shows or new videos to watch or new creators and stuff. It would give you stuff that you haven't seen before. And while some of this stuff I haven't seen before, it's mostly giving me people I follow on my homepage now. And I think that's from something else. I'll get there in a minute. On the trending page, I'm not sure how that works, but it looks like that's more like the homepage with the recommendations. But it also has some of the shows that I follow, not near as much. My subscriptions feed, and this is one that gets me. When you're subscribed to a channel, not all the subscriptions show up in your subscription feed. I played with this on some of the newer people that I'm following. I decided not to hit the bell. If you don't hit the alert bell, it does not always put their content in your live subscription feed. You have to go to your activity and look. And if you don't hit the bell, it shows up in activity a little bit more than it does subscription, but not much more. What's in library? I don't know what the library is. Oh, that's my channel. Look at that. I've noticed that a lot of small things on the back end. Yes, somebody please pick a topic, says the Malevolent Rider. He hates it when I ramble. He's got to have me something rambling about. I do notice, though, when I'm using the app and I'm using the programs, that from the live site to the analytical things change. From different perspectives it changes, and nothing seems to be consistent on YouTube anymore. I get notifications from people I'm not subscribed to every now and then. No shit. Really? I get them popping into my... Yeah, you're right. I do get some subscription feed items that I don't subscribe to. It's not very often, like one or two every couple of days. Just kind of mixed in there. Somebody I'm pretty sure I don't subscribe to, but I could be wrong. I've got hundreds of subscriptions. And Data Wasteland yells out, video games. If guns become illegal, will this increase or decrease shooting games and their sales? We had a question like this, but not this question. Really, movie is a trigger word for Nightbot. Movie's been a trigger word for Nightbot for a long time. Mostly because it's one that doesn't get picked as often. Yes, it's what happens when a bimbo, SJW bimbo, is running the platform. So here comes a question from Congress. Separate. Okay, let me hold off on that. I like my shooting games. Me not having a gun does not preclude or increase my desire to play shooting games. To be honest, my desire to play games is kind of related to my current IRL mood. If I get angry and frustrated and realize that I just need to burn time to vent frustration, I'm gonna look for the most destructive game I can find. I want to get into a machine, I want to launch rockets, I want to shoot bullets, I want to put a hammer through somebody's head, or something. I want to do something that's violent and maiming. I don't care if it's guns, I don't care if it's missiles, I don't care if they hand me a big battle axe. I want to get out there and take out some frustration. On the other hand, when I get into an antsy feeling and can't do things outside, but I want to create, I might go jump on Minecraft. The video games I play are more judged by my current real life mood and my current demeanor than they are by what's allowed. However, there are people out there that enjoy shooting guns. And if their ability to shoot guns gets taken away IRL, they're gonna try to find a way to vent that. So they might move into video games, which could increase their sales. However, secret word is not shenanigans. And we're on our third secret word. Xbox 360 had a tank game. Where is it? I have it somewhere. There's a tank game for the Xbox 360 that works on the Kinect, and you put a chair a few feet back from your Kinect. When you stand up, you got to put your hand up above your head and then stand as you pull to it or something weird like that, and the top hatch opens, and the view in the game takes you standing up out the porthole on the top of the tank. When you sit back down, there is a lever right in front of you on your right, I think it is. You reach over and you grab the lever up on your right. You pull that down. You put your hands in front of you where the joysticks for the tank was, and it reads your hands. So when your hands move back and forth, it controls the tank. When you go to hit the fire button, you gotta like reach up and hit it. It gives you an outline of where your hand is going. You get an idea of it. But then you hit the thing, and it's freaking cool. It's like you're actually in the tank. After about a half an hour of playing this game, you start to get a little fatigue from moving your shoulders and everything around, because there's levers down below you, there's levers to the sides and above you, and you're basically playing like it's in front of you, but it's not really there. It's really fun. Do you juggle Rider? Why do I sound echoey to me? Maybe because of where I'm sitting. I juggle. I can juggle 3. Yes, I have a nail gun. It's a framing nail gun. I still like the Wii shooting games. The Wii shooting games were okay. Take you back though, and I gotta go get it. It's at my other house, but I have the Nintendo with the gun, and I have Duck Hunt. And the last time I played it on my 47-inch TV was freaking awesome. You know what it's like standing back like 20 feet and popping at your TV. Doom! Doom! I don't own a gun. My father's daughter does, and he just got her a BB gun for her 6th birthday. I'm okay with this. I bought my son a small BB gun. About 3 months after I bought it, he was messing with it. It wouldn't shoot. He hit the concrete, cracked the gun down the side. I looked at him and said, okay, you're done. That's trash now. Also, time's up. Yep, we're still coming through okay. Wanted to check. Problems. Double click. Maybe I can remove that dotted thing. I don't know if I should. Alright, 3 down. So many to go. 20 minutes left in the show. 8 viewers across the board. Yep, everybody says 8 viewers. There must be 8 people here. Or the bot's lying. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. There's 8, and now it's counting the bots. Fuck you, YouTube. Alright, I got my first BB gun when I was 4 at a shotgun waiting on me at birth. Someone said movies. Movies it is. Does digitally remastering a movie make it better or worse? We all have our favorites. It was up there. I do remember somebody saying movie, and I'll go with it just to keep the show rolling. We've all seen the movies, some of the old Star Treks and a few other, Disney cartoons. They get digitally remastered. And what they like to show off when they digitally remaster a movie is how much truer the colors are and how less dull and more contrast there is, how much brighter it is, how much cooler it is. But here is the question. When they digitally remaster a movie, some people see these. Do you notice that they can only remaster a cover layer? No, it does kind of, hey, look, we digitally remastered this movie and now you need to buy it on DVD while supplies last. We'll only be out for 100 days and then you'll be out of luck for another 30 years. 3 years later, re-releasing the digitally remastered version. When you do YouTube videos, if you use things like Adobe or Vegas or things like that, you put the videos and the stuff together in layers. When I've actually seen one of the videos how they used to do the old Bugs Bunny films where they did the intros that the trees and things would move at different speeds. It was done with glass frames, a camera at one end, a light at the other, and the camera gets put on a track and moves slowly across the frames to show a certain perspective. Have a go on Malevolent. Once you put that together, what's on every layer is on those layers, and you can't change it. So once I create the intro for Saturday's show, which I'm working on, once I add in the last layer and hit render, that rendered copy is a complete version. All of the layers are compiled together to work with one another. When you go through and digitally remaster a movie, this is the downfall. They're remastering the movie over top of all of the previous layers. So if something gets done to a whole scene or a whole image that brightens it or deepens it without taking the texture of each individual part of the scene into account, then you are going to see the glitches where the colors don't bleed right or blending isn't right or something, because it's not correcting for those individual layers, it's correcting for the whole presentation. Disney is the worst. One of the things they try to do is they try to take things out of the film by overlaying another layer. And it's kind of cool how they do it. It's difficult, it's technical, there's a lot involved. But where's the original film? Except that they didn't have it digitally like we do now. You can't go back to that digital copy and adjust something on a layer, fix it, and move on. Films were done with film. The layers were either real layers or constructed to look like real layers and can't be changed in post. So when you digitally remaster a film, you're kind of ruining that original film by putting a clear layer over it, and that clear layer has to make all those changes. Do they digitally remaster digital films? That'd be a good question. Same animation in 3D Disney movies for a dancing scene. They only drew over the change of the character. Lazy. Yeah, and a lot of people know that the reason so much effort was put into some of these to make them look so 3D is because they didn't have, weird digital tips and tricks to be able to do it with. They had to actually physically make these layers. And when you move a camera beneath 16 layers of painted glass, how do you adjust something on one of those layers later in the movie? Disney used to do the layers. Yes, they did until the mid-80s or 90s. I was watching a short film on it, and I thought it was really cool. It gave me a little insight into how to do layers on some of my own videos, even though mine are digitally layered. Nightbot has dumb responses. Timer is up. What are we going to talk about next, folks? What are we going to do? Let's try to get one more, and then we'll backtrack a little and talk about some of the other stuff. The machine is really cool. It is. It's like 12 feet tall, and the glass sheets are saved in these special racks, but the sheets are like 10 feet long and 3 feet wide, some of them. Other sheets, depending on the different type of the look, the sheets were different sizes to fit into different sections, and then the camera would have to cross over so many of them and move through the scene of the glass. It was really interesting to see how they were done, because you always watch them and go, that was cool. As a result of a war, there was no gasoline for citizens. Would this be accepted as a byproduct of war or create havoc? Damn, gonna layer it on in there, huh? This category depressed me last time, Daryl. Let's talk about this way. We all know if we go to war, there's going to be a cutback on everything available to civilians. Anything that's made of copper, iron, steel, any gasolines, barreled oil, jet fuels, all this stuff is going to cut back. As a byproduct in the 40s, there was gas lines, and there were, if your plate ended with an even number, you get your gas this day, odd number, you get your gas that day, but you're only allowed so much gas. There are probably still a few out there that would just be like, okay, I've been through this before, I understand, this is what we do. And then there's the ones that are going to go, no, I need my gas. I'm going to go to every station in town and get as much as I can. I'm going to do this. I'm going to contest this. I'm going to go and do this. You're going to get people that are angry and causing problems. Ration books. Yes, in World War II, there was coupons. That's correct. For a lot of your foods and major necessities, you had to have coupons to be able to get them, because they wanted to make sure there was enough to put out for the soldiers in the wartime. Steel and metal was changed. There was even issues with coins being printed with the alloys being mixed and coins being minted with non-standardized items. Some of those coins are worth a lot of money these days. No sweat. All these questions are great, even if they bring up the dark stuff. What would a lot of people do? Now, there are some colleges that I used to know that converted into the diesel fuel. Some large companies and organizations, food companies, have decided that the oils and the byproduct of cooking food could be better used as fuel, called biodiesel. And I looked into it. It was a really cool idea. And converting a standard diesel motor into a biodiesel motor was looking at like less than $1,000 for a while. And then the fad died off. There's diesel, but diesel would also be restricted. There's propane. Some people have propane cars. There's electric. People have electric cars. So what would the result of a gas shortage be? Would it be an increase in hybrid and electric car sales? Would we have these hybrid and electric car sales, being that production of cars would go down and production of military vehicles would go up? Would we have havoc? The $1 million penny is the copper one, not the steel one. A Model A that had one of those gas cards on the windshield. I've seen those from time to time. The little like a little white or yellow card. It's got a circle in the middle with a line on one side, and then it's got like a punch spot in it, but it's not adherent like the new kind of stickers are. It was weird. I've been to a few car shows. You see them from time to time, but it's not something you pick up on. I was explaining to Data the other day, I think it was Data, that 1971 quarters were printed over top of Canadian quarters. I forget, was it the Vietnam War in 1968 or something like that came through, and there was a shortage in metal because of that? I forget exactly what the circumstances for that were. Maybe somebody knows. I don't think we would have shortages. Different times. Remember what Bush said. Go out and go shopping. How big would the war get? How bad would it get? How many resources do you think the government would stipend to make sure they could fight a war? That's the question. When it comes to wartime, the government decisions, the government decides to stipend gas or to cut back. It's whatever they deem necessary. Presidents change. If we went to war today and the fuel were cut back, would Trump tell people to go out and buy things, go out and spend so that we'd have more money? Or would it be, hang on to what you have, let's make it through this time? We haven't been in an official war since Bush. We have been unofficially at war. Thank you, Barack Obama. So, people have been out shopping this whole time, but we're not divesting our resources into a full-fledged war like we were, again, with Bush or in World War II. We're not dumping our resources in to replenish something. And World War II versus the war of the Bush era. World War II, one of the first things that got us into the war, please don't correct me on this, Data, was us being bombed in Pearl Harbor. And the need to rebuild our fleets is why there was the shortage put out on everything. We needed to rebuild the fleets. We needed to refuel the tankers. We needed to make sure our resources were allocated properly. If we were hit with a war like that, it would absolutely put us in the same place. But we learned after that to have our resources spread around the world, which is why we have so many bases. So being hit like we were in Pearl Harbor, I don't think will happen again. So maybe it will be like the Bush era, where if we do go to war, the emphasis is going to be on spending so the government has funds coming in to realize what can be done with them. However, I do believe we will see shortages because it comes down to with where we're warring against, and once factions are taken up, we will have a fuel shortage, and we will be going on the fuel that we can manage on, and that will have to be what's divided. The U.S. is mostly agro, and we transitioned to manufacturing. Yeah, we had manufacturing. Things were in place. We had to make a quick jump into manufacturing to make up for what we had just lost out on. We were already in manufacturing. We were in agriculture, but we were beginning to do manufacturing. Things were starting to become automated. Things were starting to become mechanical. Not like today, obviously. But when it came down to, oh shit, we have nothing left and we have to now make all of this, all of the car shops, all of the machinery, machine shops were converted over to make what was needed to keep the fight going, to make sure that we had supplies headed to the front. Now that we have far more vast resources and many more shops, like I said, it's going to take a hell of a hit to make it so we have to replace all of that. So, and we're no longer in a way that they can make that large a hit against us in one shot. Unless it was a strategically planned worldwide global strike. And you're talking like massive strategically planned. Yes, but farms ruled. The industrial expanded exponentially. And the reason the industrial expanded is because it was called for. Help your government. We need bullets. Get, da 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 da. I remember seeing some of that as history in school as I was growing up. Zombie apocalypse. Another day on what the fuck or the win, fuck the world. However we want to read out that category. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We've done 5. That's awesome. That's a good day show. I'll take it. Now, let's take a whole 5 minutes and burn through a few things we were talking about. Other things about YouTube. YouTube gripes. Gripes about sex and video games and movies and platforms and fucking the world. Yeah, that helped get women in factories on a larger scale. Now, mind you, there was a feminist movement in and about the time of, I think it was post-World War I is when it began to make a small draw. World War II brought in a bigger draw, and then with women going into the workplace, it really pushed for equal rights. Then there was today, which pushed way past equal rights. Let's have a cocktail party in the green room. Burn it down. Here's a question. A couple of you are creators. A couple of you are probably verging on maybe becoming a creator or just contemplating the occasional video. Would you get into YouTube? If you had an intent to create a video, to create something, would you do it on YouTube? And if not on YouTube, where would you go? Because YouTube seems to be a platform for small creators to learn and grow. It's a spot where you can deposit your materials. People can look at them. You can, move around and look at other people's to get ideas. You can get comments on the bottom to give you the ability to grow and improve your work. Apparently, I've been told by some, comments aren't always readable by other people, even if they're approved comments on your videos. That's a weird one. Somebody had told me that I had deleted comments, but the comments were still there, but they told me on their end there were no comments. that they thought I deleted them. That didn't happen. I don't delete comments. So, not that I had a problem with the insinuation, but I remember having clicked on a video and having left a comment and gone, where did my comment go? Was it deleted? So I'm thinking that's a YouTube glitch, people trying to figure out how to block certain things in certain ways. Not sure. What else do we got? I am going to, for anybody still in here, I have the vote going on Twitter. I apparently can't spell Twitter. If you want to hit up the Twitter poll and put your input on whether or not I should continue and in what direction I should continue this show, please feel free to hop over to that Twitter page. Put your vote in. I will be making my decision probably Saturday at some point once the vote closes. With that, guys, here we are at the end of the hour. It has been an awesomely fun show. If you're not on Twitter, that's fine. It's just up there. Maybe I'll put one on YouTube later. I just haven't figured out how yet. I haven't worried about it. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in for today's show. Don't forget to hit the buttons that you like to hit on your way out the door. And with that being said, have a great day.